for those who...
What we do here is go back.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother...
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. I am your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha, and it's Monday, guys. Welcome. We start a new week. Here we go. Hope everybody enjoyed the Q&A session on Friday. I did. I thought it went really smoothly, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought you guys had some really great questions, and hopefully provided some really great answers for you. So we'll do that again sometime in the near future, hopefully. And until then, we're going to continue to work on the Jesta. We're going to work on that tonight. I busted apart the backpack, and we're going to do some work on that. Show you how to sharpen up a curved piece, and then also how to make a really cool little detail block for your next project. So we're going to do that tonight. Maybe do some other things after that as well, but we'll see what what the time looks like, right? So a few points of business before we start. Rocking the laser gun, you know, the RX-78 rifle tonight. If you want one of these awesome t-shirts, hit up childofmecha.com. Click the store up at the top. You're going to be transported to a wonderful website with a whole bunch of Gundam-style t-shirts, hats, and bags currently. Maybe some more stuff in the future, like pillows and stuff, all like that. So that'll be a lot of fun. And so yeah, go ahead and hit that up if you would. All of the tools and all that good stuff that I'm going to be working with tonight can be found in the Amazon link below or over here on the Facebook description. So click on that. You'll see all the tools that we work with. You'll see a bunch of the books that we reviewed thus far. Not the one that we're going to be taking a look at tonight, because you're not going to be able to get that on Amazon, but you'll be able to take a look at some really cool other books that you can get on there to give you some really cool inspiration for your next project. So you can also take a look at some of the streaming gear that we use to make this live stream possible, and also Gunpla Talk as well. So all that cool stuff is in that little Amazon link down at the bottom or on the side on Facebook. You can check that out at any time. And also, too, we talked about it over the weekend on Gunpla Talk. Win this model. Win that model. Perfect Grade Astray Red Frame. We're doing a fundraiser / giveaway for that. And also, I don't know if you guys saw, but we posted, or I posted a picture on the Gunpla Talk Facebook page, and then also on the GoFundMe page as well. I just received the 6 mini resin busts from our good friend Win, the paint pusher. So those are in-house, ready to be sent all around the world for you guys. And he included some really cool little cards that have his, little Gundam portraits, kind of in the Victorian military outfits and everything. Those really cool painted style portraits. Those are awesome. He autographed those, and he sent 6 our way to send out with the resin bust. So you'll get one of those if you happen to win one of those resin busts as well. We're also going to be getting, hopefully, some things from our good friend Ace Schultz. He's in the chat over there on YouTube, otherwise known as Mr. Burkanatir over on Facebook. He's sending some stuff. A P-Bandai Polypod, some BMC chisels, some other little goodies and stuff like that. So we'll update you guys when we receive those. Those will go out to winners as well. But to enter, all you have to do is donate onto the Gunpla Talk fundraiser / giveaway. We're collecting money, like I said, for the National Areata Alopecia Areata Foundation. Sorry, I get those mixed up. But it's for a good cause, great charity and everything. And so we're raising money for that. We're giving stuff away. All you have to do is donate. Really simple. Do something good for the world, you know? So it's fun. It's fun. What else? Oh, so just wanted to talk real quick about the Q&A last week, and obviously I think it went pretty well. Hang on one second, folks. There we go. Cool. So the Q&A went really well, I think. We had one idiot come in, and so we promoted somebody to the role of mod. If you guys are on YouTube, you can see Mr. Bailey here with us. His name is in blue. He is now modding for us over on good old YouTube. So give Bailey a round of good round of applause and congratulations there, because he's definitely earned it. Look at that. Cool. All right. Just handling some things here, folks. Sorry about that. All right. So, all good fun. All good fun. Let's see. What else? Let's take a look at this book, shall we? Let's see. Let's get that in frame. Make sure that's good for you guys. Let's go to camera 2. Here we go. So we're going to be looking at this book tonight, The Scratch Build Revolution. This is a pretty popular book out there amongst, people and stuff like that. It's a little bit old. What, maybe a year or two, I'd say? I'm thinking. But this is by Bluebeck Studios, and it's distributed by HobbyMate. Right there. Nice little shop in Singapore. But you can get this on other places too. I'm not sure whether it's still in stock at USA Gundam Store or not, but it is available. You can probably find it on eBay, places like that. So go check that out. But this is a fun little book by a young man, Ifin Cusianto. I think I'm saying that right. Cusianto. Yeah, Cusianto. Let's go with that, right? But basically what this book is his kind of journey on customizing his Jesta. And he entered that into GBWC, I believe. So it's a pretty cool little book for someone just wanting to start out into customizing and everything. This book definitely has some really good points, especially like this. This is an explanation of the 3-line rule, right? This is actually very, very useful for everyone to learn. So if anything, if you take anything from this particular book, this is what it looks like. This is what you should definitely take, the 3-line rule, because he shows you how it works, how it really doesn't work. And he kind of tells you some good practices and some pitfalls as well. So good stuff all around there. And a lot of this is scribing panel lines, customizing, and things like that. The term scratch building is, I think, of a bit of a misnomer in this point. If this was called maybe Customized Revolution, I think it would be way more accurate. But still, that's not a deal breaker for this book at all, right? So this is really, really a nice book to get started and kind of learn some of the techniques, you know, in terms of customizing, scribing, all that good stuff. So we'll thumb through this here real quick. And he obviously, you know, everybody uses Evergreen, right? Evergreen's good stuff. And he kind of, you know, just takes you through some very simple techniques to create something like that, right? You can end up with something like that at the end of one of these chapters. Multi-layering detail is another good one that he does, and he kind of takes you through. And, you know, it explains his techniques, the reasons why, things of that nature. Really good explanations on that front. How to duplicate things. Here's multi-layering, which is really, really good. And shows you how to, obviously, he's customizing the Jesta's shoulder in this particular chapter and everything. And he gets into, like, chamfering and all sorts of stuff. To apply to your next project. Really some interesting stuff here. Here's a good one about filling mistaken panel lines and stuff, so good stuff there. And symmetrical patterns, asymmetrical patterns, all sorts of really, really useful stuff. And chapter 4, he finally does get into a little bit of scratch building. So basically what he does is he replicates one of the Jesta's, I believe, front skirts. Yeah, one of the Jesta's front skirts here, which is actually quite nice. He ends up with this end product here. This is the Jesta stock skirt, and here's his scratch-built one. I think very well done, in my opinion. I think it looks really quite well. But it goes through all that sorts of stuff. Talks about joints and stuff like that, how to make your own kind of custom joint systems and everything. Ken to Tintu, thank you for the subscribe on YouTube, buddy. Welcome to the family. Thanks for watching. Appreciate that. Polycaps for kit bashing, all sorts of stuff like that. Trimming up different parts and things. All sorts of cool stuff. Here's one called Muscle Up Your Gundam. Okay. Basically what he's doing is he is adding styrene sheet to, you know, beef up the proportions and things. So really cool stuff there. All sorts of different styles of customization. And then he kind of takes you through really a lot of pictures of the whip and then also of the finished piece as well, which is really kind of interesting looking. For my money, I really like the whip pictures more than anything at this point. Let's see. Kind of gets into all sorts of little nooks and crannies of the project. Really good stuff. And it really just page after page after page of, you know, whip picks and stuff like that. Really interesting stuff. And then he gets into, these are some models, I believe, from some of his models, it looks like. Yeah. Some of the models that he's done in the past. And then some glamour shots of his finished Jesta, which looks really quite nice. And the journey, his journey, and man, just good stuff. He actually, I guess, went to GBWC 2012 in Tokyo, so that's cool. And so yeah, so a nice little book overall, not bad, right? So Scratch Build Revolution, get it where you can find it, I guess, right? like I said, USA Gundam Store, I don't know if they have those in stock or not, but you can always definitely check, right? So, all right. So with that being said, let's take a look back at one camera here. Let's get caught up with the chat, shall we? Tim Nelson is over there on Facebook saying, what up? What up, Tim? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that. Let's see. A. Schultz is with us. Raimundo Minami is watching from work. Nice. I love the dedication. Thank you for watching. Bailey's here with us as well. As always, thank you for holding down the fort over there on YouTube, Bailey. Appreciate that, buddy. Julius Dembski, I'll try to check back in after family dinner night. Cool. Let's see. Captain Weirdbeard is with us. Awesome. And Gamer Bud is with us. Great. Sadly, I forgot about Friday, but I'll have to go back and watch it. Man, you missed a good one, man. William Wilms is with us. That's already in my library. Great tips in that book. Nice, nice. That's awesome. Bailey says, love mine. Pages started coming out of my copy, so I had to glue them back in. Nice. That's when you know it's a good book, when you start wearing it out like that, right? Let's see. Looks like Andrew Young is with us, everybody. The drunk college boy himself, right? Just wanted to pop by and... like, I'm gonna text you later after the stream tonight if that's all right. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Get off the stream now because I have an exam tomorrow. Transport on my butt like terror. I don't know what that means, everybody. Maybe he's drunk again. I don't know. Freddie Torres is with us. He says, yo, Tim. Thank you for watching, Freddie. Very cool. Oh, letting you know, like, okay. Thank you for the definition of the analogies. Appreciate that, buddy. Awesome. All right, so now that we're caught up with the chat, let's switch back to two-camera. Let's get into what we are working on this fine evening. Let's zoom in. And, hey, look at that. Barack Asaza is with us. Barack, welcome back from Costa Rica, buddy. Thank you for watching. Hope you had fun in Costa Rica. I guess you were there for work or something like that, so that's awesome. Let's get super zoomed in to this little piece here because I want to show you this little detail block here real quick. All right, looks like the camera's off from the squares a little bit. Not a big deal, but here's this little detail block here, right? Let's get this. Try to get this centered up. There we go. So this is actually a very simplistic style detail block, right? I think there's maybe what 6 pieces of plastic to make up this little detail, right? Very easy to construct. We're going to do it here in just a little bit, but basically, you know, you just have this kind of big notch here. You've got this nice flat panel on top that you can do some stuff with. You can scribe that, maybe add some more, you know, plastic sheet to it, maybe coatable Kia part or something like that, like an option part. It gives many possibilities to what you're able to do with this. So it's a very, very nice multi-layered style detail block. So we're going to build that here in just a few minutes. But, you know, I really like this thing. It's nicely angled. You can see all around it's somewhat beveled. So it gives a nice alternative look to what you normally see. So that'll be fun to build, right? Now, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take a look at these. These are part of the Jesta's backpack where the thrusters are. These are the cowling that fits over the thrusters on the backpack. Originally, this particular piece is just curved right here. This is not angled or flat. It's just really just a simple curve, and you can see that like right there in that piece. And I really don't like that look kind of at all, to be honest with you. So what I did was I took the piece and I just kind of sharpened it, right? So eliminated that curve in the middle, eliminated the curves on the side, and made those nice and sharp and beveled. And this is actually quite easy as well. This is not a hard process, simply because of the orientation of the piece. But as an overall, it's not really that hard. We'll kind of show you the techniques involved and everything. So obviously, if you guys know Josh Dara, he's a master at sharpening curved parts and things. It's what he did on his Sinanju and a couple of other models that he's done. So this is somewhat similar to that. So this kind of gets you into the world of doing stuff like this, right? So it's good time. All right, hang tight just 1 second here, guys. Let me take a look at one thing here real quick. Okay. There we go. Easy. Had to take care of something over there on Twitch. Not a big deal, though. Easy stuff. Hey, Sorvan, it's all good, buddy. We got it. We got it. I have a feeling that may be a trend tonight, Sorvan, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. So, all right, boys. Sorry about that little Twitch situation. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. All right. So we're good there. All right. So let's get to actually sharpening this thing, right? Let's get the eyes on. And what you're going to need is a nice sharp hobby knife. Okay. So what we're going to do is, and I'm specifically not using the little NT cutter blade simply because the blade is a little too short to get this on all kind of one swipe, right? The Ulfa knife is plenty big enough to get this in one pass, okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to let the knife ride right along the surface here, and we're going to just kind of cut into that ever so slightly, trying to keep it level with this surface. Okay. Then once we got that cut in, we're going to spin this around. We're going to let the blade ride on the other surface and do the exact same thing until we get a nice corner, and we just keep going back and forth until this little piece pops out. And you'll feel it. It will pop. And there it goes. So there we have the beginnings of this nice sharp corner here. And then we just kind of let the knife kind of keep riding on that surface, and then just it'll want to naturally flatten that up. And we just keep flipping it back and forth, and it's all good. And there we go. So that right there now, as compared to what it looked like before, is really nice and nice sharp detail, right? So good stuff there. Now, the problem that we have to contend with in terms of this particular piece is this curve. Ooh, I didn't switch back. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. All right, that's better. So what we have to contend with is this curve right here. So we need to sharpen this point up here to match this now sharp inner corner, right? So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to do the same basic principle, but this time I'm going to switch back to my little NT cutter blade simply because it can take care of this all in one swipe. And we're going to let the blade ride right along, and we are going to start to turn this blade as it gets closer into that curve. And we're going to stop right there where this sharp corner now is. We're going to flip it around. We're going to do the same thing to this. And there we go. Simple stuff, right? And now, what we need to do is to smooth out these surfaces, right? So what I like to do is start in the new corner and then just scrape out from there. And so now, this beveled surface is nice and matching that new angle that we just put in. So now what we do is flip it around, start in that corner again, and do the same thing to this other side. And there we go. I'll just clean this up here. And there's a nice sharpened, angled piece. Really simple, right? Really simple. So we're going to just spin it around, do the same thing to the other side. First, what I like to do with the little NT cutter blade, since it is so nice and so sharp, I like to just kind of clean up this inner line here. Just to get that nice and cleaned out. There we go. All right, so same thing on this side. We want to cut in and get right down to that point, stop, and then spin it back around. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to cut that corner out. Okay, just like that. And there we go. Nice sharp corners. Real easy. Whoa. There we go. So let's compare these two, shall we? There we go. Looks pretty good. I think this one that I did earlier has got a little bit of chaff in it, a little bit of unevenness, but not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. So, yeah, easy, right? So there we go. You can do this with pretty much any curved piece, right? Very simple to do. It just takes a little dexterity, right? So, but it is simple. That's what this build is all about, being just simple, different techniques and simple details, right? This is an exercise in simple details. So all of this stuff you guys can do. So pretty easy overall. So we're going to set these aside. Let's now change our attention to this little guy, this little block, right? This is a nice little detail that you can pretty much put anywhere, right? I mean, you could put it on the side of the leg here if you wanted to, right there, right? You could put it on the inside of this calf here if you wanted to. You could put it on the outside back panel right here on the back of the leg. You know, you can pop this, particular little detail almost anywhere on a kit that has, room for it. And you can make this to any size or shape that you want to as well. You know, a lot of easy stuff, right? So we're gonna make this. So I pre-cut all the pieces that we're gonna need. So here are all of them. We're gonna put our finished piece off to the side here, and so we've got 4 teeny tiny pieces. That's going to make up this front section here around the recess. And then we've got 2 pieces of 6.2 millimeter strip. And this one is 1 millimeter. That's going to be our base. This is 0.5 millimeter. That's going to go on top and start to kind of bump the height on this thing a little bit. So we're going to glue it in place, and then we're going to put 2 of these pieces on either side and glue those in, even those up, and then we'll glue the 2 on the front to create that nice recess. So really, really simple stuff here. We're going to power through this, and we're going to super glue this one together. The other one I did, the prototype I used to me extra thin. So we're going to use super glue in this case to speed up the process. So let's get this show on the road here. All right. So first step is you want to glue the top on first. This establishes where those other strips will come into play. And lining this up is pretty important. And that looks quite nice. Nice and parallel. Looks good. Now we got about a 2 millimeter gap here at the bottom. That's for the reveal, right? That's for that little recess notch right here. That's what we're trying to replicate. Get focused. There we go. All right. So we've got the top plate on now. That gives us a nice height. So now what we've got to do is get these border pieces glued in. We're just going to pick those up with our hobby knife, put a small drop of glue on these. we're just going to put these right on the corner here. Okay. So there's the first one. Now, mind you, this may not be completely flush on the top, but that's not a problem because we're going to go back, we're going to sand everything nice and flush with each other, and we'll make it just really, really smooth, make it all look like one piece. Not a big deal. Okay. Put this piece over here now. Okay. Flip it, push those pieces down to apply even pressure across this, and let's make sure these are nice and even. And to push these into place, all I do is just kind of try to crush these right between the jaws of my caliper here. Since these are parallel, that will join these pieces in a parallel fashion. So really simple stuff there. All right, so now these pieces are on. Now let's clip off the excess here at the end just to get it nice and flush. So we'll put these other little pieces off to the side here momentarily. Let's get this thing evened up on the top here. Whoop, there we go. Okay, just doing the fingernail test here for any gaps, and it looks like the super glue filled in any potential gaps there really quite nicely. So I'm happy with that, right? So now all we got to do is just kind of sand even the sides. We're going to bevel these here in a minute, but I like to get these evened up right out of the gate. Okay. Same thing with the front side. All right. So there's the piece in its initial stage, just glued up. Real simple, all squared and everything, even. So let's get caught up with everybody in the chat, shall we? Let's see. Let's hop back a little bit. Let's see. Nice. Let's see. Willie Matamoros, greetings from Houston. What's going on, Willie? Thanks for coming back. Appreciate that. Enrika Asanohashi is with us. Awesome. Nice. Astrea Kai is with us. That's cool. Barack Isaza says, thanks to you, Tim, to have this show. And no, just work and no fun. Oh, that sucks, man. But well, I need to pay the bills, I guess, right? Cool. Billy says the wife lets you back into the workshop, or she take over for good. Nice. That's fun. That's fun. Enrika Asanohashi, sup, Bailey, rocking the moderator badge. Yes, yes. Bailey kindly accepted the promotion of being a moderator on YouTube, so helping me hold down the fort. So appreciate that. Let's see. Enrika Asanohashi also says that gab play is beautiful. Talking about Josh's gab play, yeah. Was really, really well done. Let's see. Bailey's like, I don't even like the gab play. I hated it in Zeta Gundam, but what Joshua does to it is fire. Yeah. Yeah. That's a definite. William Williams' gab play is amazing. I'm still reading through his Zeta book. Yeah. man. The Zeta book, if you guys are not familiar, Josh has it on his website. It's basically his whole walkthrough of how he customized his Master Grade Zeta Plus from start to finish, the paint, everything. And basically, it's a pay what you want to style ebook. And man, it's great. So if you haven't picked it up, head up to his website, joshuadera.com, and man, pick that up. It's a good read. Let's see. Ken2N2 is with us over here on YouTube. Welcome, Ken. Thanks for joining. He says I was late to the stream and had to put the kids to bed, but what book was he going through in the beginning of the stream worth getting? Great question. Scratch Build Revolution. This one is by Ifan Cusianto. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But yeah, definitely worth it, if you can find it, that is. So he, let's see, the book, I think it was on USA Gundam Store here in the US. It is distributed by HobbyMate, so you could hit them up, see if they still have copies left, but they're in Singapore, so depending on where you are in the world, you know, you're going to incur shipping at that point. You know, could be high shipping costs for all I know. I don't know. But if you're in the U.S., man, hit up USA Gundam Store to see if they have any more. If not, hit up eBay or something like that, maybe. It's worth a shot, right? Let's see. Yeah, Bailey says, very worth it. Nice. Bailey says, also, I feel you with the kids' bedtime. Thank goodness my little one is young enough to have an early bedtime, so stuff can get done. Nice. And FN Tiger is with us on YouTube. What's up, FN Tiger? Thanks for watching. He says, finally got a day off from college to build some. Awesome. Good stuff. That's always fun, right? Nice day off. Enrique Asanohashi says, nice. We had a spring break last week over here. That's awesome. William Wilms, oh, to be young again with barely a responsibility. I know, right? Not having to pay bills or anything like that. It would be fun, right? F and Tiger says, nice, I just had a class canceled. Sweet. Always fun. Enrique Asanohashi, what are you building? Anybody else building while watching? William Wilms looks like he's building a Master Grade Jagan. F and Tiger, I just posted to the Gunpla subreddit. Mine's a space-type IBO 00 Gundam build. Interesting. Bailey says, my Master Grade Zaku. I'd like to think Tim's eyes for detail is contagious. Dude, yeah, come on. Your Zaku's awesome, dude. Bailey says, Barakasaza, you working on the high-grade Zaku. Those scribe lines you posted on Instagram look killer. I agree, man. Very, very well done, Barack. I like what I'm seeing. Enrique Asanohashi, sweet. I'm working on a diorama, snap fitting the kit right now. The R.A. Vignagina, hopefully that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. We'll see, right? So let's see. William Wilms, are you going to paint it bright red? God, I hope not. Jonathan G. Hey, what size plot plates should I be working with? Great question. Okay, so we answered this question on the Q&A, but I'll answer it again here. So, and Bailey actually already answered it for me. Damn it. Bailey, keep stealing my thunder. But hey, you know, 0.25 millimeter, 0.5 millimeter, and 1 millimeter. Yes, definitely exactly what Bailey says. That's why I'm modding him, everybody. He knows his shit backwards and forwards almost as good as I do. But man, so yeah, so 0.25 millimeter for very light details, very kind of small close-up types of things. 0.5 millimeter for pretty much most of everything, and then 1 millimeter for kind of your bulky, heavy armor style of details, or just your scratch building in general. Those are kind of the good rule of thumb that I use when dealing with plate thicknesses and everything. But definitely check out the Q&A from last Friday. I definitely go into a lot more detail on that. So that's a great question, though. Great question. F and Tiger, how do you spell Josh's last name? And William Wilms, he got it. Cool. D-A-R-R-A-H. Excellent. Let's see. Ken2N2 said, it's sold everywhere I checked. Oh, the Scratch Build Revolution. Awesome. Good stuff. Barakasaza replying to Bailey says, yes, man, I'm working on the high-grade Zaku, trying to do my best. It looks good for being the first try. So that's mean that you have to look at it from far away. No, man, I think the pictures that you posted look really, really good, Barack. Don't discount your talents, man. Let's see. Stephen Middendorf is with us a little late here. Master Grade Jesta and Master Grade Jesta Cannon are some of my favorite kits. I like them so much. Made the Jesta team from Unicorn. Sweet. Awesome. Well, thank you for watching, man. Welcome to the show. Let's see. Rare as Wrath is with us again, watching your stream while at work. Man, that dedication from watching at work. I love you guys from watching at work, man. Seriously. Barakasaza, thanks, Tim, but still a long way. And no kidding, I'm applying what you were teaching here. That's awesome. It makes me feel good. Let's see. Lol Scrub is with us. Tomas, welcome, man. He says, hola, hola. Man, love it when you guys from Central and South America show up, man. You guys show up in force, don't you? Love you guys, man. Love you guys. That's awesome. Tomas says, hola, bro. Cool. Let's see. So I think looks like we're caught up. Yeah. Bailey says, Barakasaza, the shot you put with the 2 feet together shows your skill with design, but did you copy it to the other foot yet? It's a good question. A very good question. So, man, if you can copy them, duplicate them on both feet, man, you're well on your way to becoming a scribing master. Stephen Middendorf, and currently working on the high-grade Build Divers 00 Sky higher than Sky phase because it just came in today. See, I don't get the Sky High, higher than Sky phase and all that good stuff. Mind you, I'm not really a fan of you know, the Build series, any one of them. So, but it's cool. It's fun. I get it. It's a cool little, it's a cool show. We get cool models from it. So, hey, you know, can't knock that, right? So, Rara's Wrath got my Scratch Build Revolution book a while back. Lucky to have someone here in the Philippines who has a connection to HobbyMate. That is lucky. Yeah, I got mine back when it, God, what, like a year or two ago when it kind of first came out. You know, pre-ordered it from Gundam Story, Gundam USA, and yeah, it was well worth the money. And you got like these cool little goodies, like these sanding blocks that I use. These guys, I use these religiously, and they all came with the book too. This general scriber that I use came with the book. So I got some really cool little goodies added in with the pre-order. So yeah, that was totally worth it. I don't know if they still have the goodies added in with the books and stuff like that, but if they do, yeah, well worth the money. Well worth the money. So Edwin RSA says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Edwin. Thank you for watching, buddy. Rara's Wrath says, now waiting for my brother to return here in the country. He got my shipped Clash of the Deities book already. Awesome. Awesome. Great book, by the way. Great book, by the way. So very cool. All right, so we're caught up. Let's get back to work. This glue should be set up. We should be ready to rock and roll here at this point. So now comes the beveling, the slight beveling of the edges here. So first and foremost, I want to clean out just this little bit of dust here, because the cleaner we can get that, the better. So easy peasy there. So like I showed before, there's a slight bevel all the way around, just to kind of give this little detail plate a little character, right? Get this focused there. And so that's what we're going to do now. So to do that, I use my HobbyMate sanding block here, right? So first thing I do is start to take off the corner like this, and that's kind of the angle. So this would be 90 degrees, right about there. So I pull it back. That's maybe what, 15, 20 or so degrees, and we just go to town up and down. You know, you don't want to go in a circle. You don't want to go back and forth, because there's a chance that you could wobble that sanding and have one side more beveled than the other. So you want to be careful, and you want to try to avoid that. So that's why I just go up and down like this, right? And you just want to keep sanding until the bottom edge starts to touch the sanding block. At that point, you know you've gone all the way. There's no flat parts, and it's nice and beveled on this particular side. And you want to check it, obviously. You want to take it slow and check your progress. Now, this is looking pretty good. Make sure it's square, because that's always going to be a bit of a danger when sanding down a bevel like this, right? Making sure you apply even pressure. That's also very, very important. That looks like a winner. Check both sides, check the top for squareness, and also check the bottom for squareness too, because you're going to be able to check to see if there's any low points, if there's any high points from the bottom, simply because you're just looking at a flat plane here, right? So that looks pretty even. We hold it up to this. Yeah, that looks nice. I'm happy with that. So we flip it around. We do the same thing to the other side, right? Get it into a 90 degrees first, and then start to turn your sanding block. There we go. So I don't know about you guys, but I saw the new trailer for Bumblebee, and I'm pretty damn impressed. I hope you guys are too. The Generation 1 Transformer designs in that, pretty happy with it. I was smiling ear to ear when I saw Soundwave eject Ravage from his chest. I was just like, holy shit, that's my childhood. So, what do you guys think? I thought it looked awesome. I really did. I thought it looked really, really awesome. And I'm pretty psyched about it. Rare is Wrath. Me too. G1. Yes. We've needed this type of movie for a long time now, especially after the Michael Bay movies. Don't get me wrong, I really liked the nostalgia in the first Transformer, Michael Bay movie. But man, it just unfortunately doesn't hold up over time very well. Okay, so we're getting there on this bevel. Just keep sanding, just keep sanding, just keep sanding. It's what you have to tell yourself sometimes when you're sanding pieces like this. You just got to keep going until it's done. All right, but I think we've got a matching bevel at this point, so might have to apply a little pressure to the front of this side just to get it to match up. But I think we're looking good. So here we go. Let's see. Paley says, no apologies. It's your second language, and you're doing better than a lot of native English speakers. Oh, what? Oh, Barack. Okay. I watched a guy from Instagram that used that technique to duplicate the parts. I was going to repost it on Instagram because it saved me a lot of time. Very cool. Yeah, we understood. We completely understood. Not a problem. Let's see. Rare is Wrath. Is it a reboot or? Yeah, you know what? I don't know, you guys. Is it a reboot? I don't know. I honestly I don't. I think it might be. Or it's like maybe a Bumblebee origin or something like that. I'm not really 100% sure. I've seen the previews, and I don't know. Maybe somebody out there in the chat knows, right? Bailey says Transformers went off the rails really quickly. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Dark Kaiser 99 is joining us from Twitch. He says, I miss a lot of your live streaming, though. Damn. Need to work. Yeah, I know that feeling. I need to work, too. We all do. Barack Asaza, sanding, it's drain on your life like a vampire mistress. Dude, I know, right? I hate sanding. Like, that is, like, one of the worst things ever, is sanding and surface prep and all that. But, man, it's absolutely crucial, you guys. It's absolutely crucial. I wouldn't wouldn't complain so much if it wasn't so important. All right, so now we're going to bevel the back end here. This is a little tougher than the longer sides, simply because it's so short and your sanding block could wobble on you and you could apply uneven pressure to this this end. So it could angle on one side. And yeah, it looks like that's what it's doing for me. So I need to apply a little bit of more pressure on the side closest to me. To get that evened back out. That looks pretty good. We're going to check squareness on my little T-square here. But that actually looks pretty good. So we're well within the boundaries here at this point. So let's start to turn this guy. Okay. Let's see what that looks like there. Not bad. Looks pretty square to me, yeah? All right. So now we have to worry about this end here. Now, with these two border parts being super glued, I don't want to go at it with a sanding block straight out of the gate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, basically pre-bevel with my hobby knife, so that will start to ease the transition down a little bit more. So there we go. Now that won't shock those pieces nearly as much. And hopefully they won't pop off either, because that's what you're trying to avoid. If you went straight at this thing with a sanding block, there's a chance that these two little border pieces here and here would just pop right off the piece, and then you'd have to basically just do everything all over again, right? And that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid, you know, doing things more than once, right? So let's get back to the beveling, shall we? Okay. Check squareness. Check the bevel. Looks pretty good. Okay. So that looks pretty good and square. Let me double check here with the T-square. Yep, bang on. Excellent. Excellent. That's what we want to see. Now let's check this with the prototype here and make sure that our dimensions are looking good. And it looks like the prototype is a little shorter than the piece that we're working with right now. So let's go back and take off a little bit more material off the back here, simply because we're not digging into any details or anything like that. It's just a blank piece back on the back end of this thing. So just grind that down a little bit more. Let's get the good old bastard file out here and really get to work. Really get some material moved. Okay, double check that. That looks pretty good. We're just going to finish this piece off here with a sanding block. Get that nice and smooth, get any of the file teeth marks out of that. Now that should be perfectly even with the prototype piece here. Yep, looks pretty good. All right, cool. So, whew, a little warm in here tonight, guys. A little warm in here. Crazy. All right, so let's see. William Williams. I thought it was supposed to be a prequel, but after seeing all the original designs, I don't know. Either way, I'm going to see it in the theater. Yeah, me too. Me too. Let's see. Edwin RSA says, at Bailey, hi, painting on my petite guy as a test for a bigger kit. Bailey says, that's a great idea. Those petite guys are surprisingly fun on their own, too. I agree, man. I love little petite bear guys. They get a bad rap, but man, I love those little guys. They're so much fun, especially when you customize them and everything. Come on, they're easy. They're easy to build, easy to customize too. Edwin RSA says, I have one around, didn't know what should I do with it, and decided to test Lincoln Wright's hand painting and weathering techniques. Excellent. That's a good test base for something like that. Good call. I like where your head's at, Edwin. Nice. All right, good stuff. All right, so let's get these last two pieces on here and applied, and then we're going to go about final sanding and beveling and all that good stuff here with this little guy. So we'll pick up our little teeny weeny little border pieces here. We'll get a drop of super glue on each one. There we go. And we just line these up with the inside of the piece that's already on there. And you're going to get a little glue squeeze out, but that's good. That's a good thing. You want that super glue to fill in any gaps or anything like that in the plastic. So that's actually very, very good, because you can go back and clean that up really easily. So we're going to apply our second little border piece here. Just a little drop of super glue. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. We're going to match that up with the inside of the strip that's already on there. There we go. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Press that into place. All right, we're going to let that cure up just for a few seconds here. Let's see. LOL Scrub. Tomas says, I honestly love sanding and seam removal. Really? He says, too bad my arm is still messed up and my gunpla has slowed down a lot. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, dude. I didn't know. Billy says, oh yeah, man, I feel for you, bro. You went back to the doctor about it. What's wrong with your arm, Tomas? I don't know. I'm out of the loop. So, but it sucks that you can't build. All right. These pieces are now cured up. Now we just take off the excess up front with our nippers. Really easy stuff there. And then on the top here as well, we're going to trim that clean with our hobby knife momentarily. Ooh, damage the ligament. Yeah, it's never fun. That's never fun. I'm sorry to hear that, Tomas. Damn. I wish you speedy recovery, brother. Hopefully you can get back to building soon. Damn. All right. Looking good. Looking good here. All right. So what we're going to do next is to just trim the excess off of the top. We're going to let our hobby knife ride the surface that's already there and basically just match that cut and even out those border strips really nicely. Now, if you're not able to cut that perfectly, not a problem, because we're going to go back and we're going to do one more kind of finish sanding at the top and get the top level completely nice and even. All right, good there. Do the same thing to the bottom, and then we're going to attack the sides here. Okay, now these are even, top's even. Now we have to even up the sides. Since we put the bevel on here before, we need to cut these front strips down to match that side bevel. So this is kind of where it gets a little tricky, and you need to be pretty gentle with your knife work, because these pieces, since they're so small, there's not a ton of surface there for adhesion for the super glue, so they could pop real easily if you're not careful. So you want to be super, super smooth with your knife work. Okay, that looks really nice. Very good. All right, do the same thing to the other side here. And then we'll start to finish sand this guy. Okay. Now, before we do that, we have to clean out the little excess super glue that's squeezed out when applying these border pieces. Not hard, you just basically just trim it out with your hobby knife. And that will leave you with a nice clean little recess here as well for this piece. Okay, got one side cleaned out. Clean out the other side. Make sure you're nice and, like I said, nice and gentle with your knife work here, because all these little parts are very, very fragile. Okay. One last corner. Okay, and there we go. There is nice evened up finished plastic work. Now we just have to get in here and kind of clean this up, make it final, do a little bit of scribing on the inside, and then do your final bevels around the top. So let's get the scribing first. We're going to just use our 0.15 chisel here right into this recess, and we're just going to, just border scribe this. Nothing really insane. We're just basically simulating a separated piece here. So I like to start on the front part of this recessed bit and get those established right out of the gate. Get those lines cut in. And then we can start to work from the corners of the recess and basically just work out from there. All right. Got the two sides done up. Now we're going to do the back. All right, so we almost got those scribes done. Just a little bit of cleanup on these, and we'll do some final beveling, final sanding, and then this piece will be pretty much done. All right, so there's that. All right, let's get the final bevels in here, and for that, I'm just going to use my my little NT cutter blade here, and we're just going to lightly scrape the corners of this piece. Nothing crazy, just really, really light beveling. Because it's already got a nice bevel along all the sides. This is just basically to soften up the corners a little bit and kind of give it a little bit more mechanical look. So just a few passes with your hobby knife. Make sure it's a nice sharp blade. And there, we pretty much have a duplicated piece. Let's get super zoomed in on this so you guys can see what I'm talking about, okay? All right, let's get these in the box. There we go. All right. And there we are. So these two little pieces are now pretty much perfectly matched. There you go. Nice recessed little detail on the front. And like I said, the top you can use you can do almost anything with. You can actually extend these panel lines up and around, make a nice box panel in here. You can glue on some, maybe a Kotobukiya vent or something like that on there. You can add some more strip on there to make some, increased detail on top of that. You can do almost anything. This is a nice base for other things, right? Or, you can just glue these on, some other model parts, right? So say, for instance, like I said before, you can just pop that right onto like the Jesta's leg or something like that, right? Or how about the front of the leg? How about the back of the leg? Right? How about right there on the top back of the calf? So this particular little detail block, you can put almost anywhere. And like I said, the beauty about this is that you can make this pretty much any size, or width or dimension or shape even. This is very, very simple to do. And man, it's just totally utilitarian, you guys. Totally utilitarian. So I really like this this little detail block. I'm going to be putting these on to the backpack. Where'd it go? Here it is. And so here's the backpack. I filled in, there are two pre-molded notches here and here. Obviously I filled those in with some super glue, and then these little guys are going to be going right about there on the backpack. So I think that'll be a nice look. It'll break up the monotony of all the flat surfaces and everything on this particular piece. The Jesta's backpack is very angular, very flat surface, just very open to new details, right? So that's what this is for. This is going to be put into use right like that, and I think I might even do something quite a lot bigger on the sides here of the Jesta's backpack, and I think that'll look really, really quite nice. So yeah, so I'm very happy with how these little guys came out. So something that you guys can do and apply to your next model, right? Real easy, real easy. So let's get caught up in the chat. Let's see. Let's see. Where do we leave off? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Let's see. Bailey says he got a sweet Bawu finished in the meantime, though. Check out his Instagram. Cool. Let's see. LOL Scrub. Photos still to come. Okay. Yeah, notice you haven't put up finished shots of it yet. Rakasaza, yes, dude. We want some photos. Nice. Bailey, be like me and never get around to doing any glamour shots. Come on, man. Let's see. This part would be a good homework project for scratch building. Yeah, that would be, right? LOL Scrub, I have to agree. How that detail changes the piece so much. Yeah, and it's very simple too, right? Very simple. I actually got inspiration for this little piece from a Japanese builder on Twitter, and months ago, and I don't even know who it was at this point. I don't even remember. I just saved the photo in my phone, and I've just been kind of going back and forth with it, and basically just from inspiration from several different sources, I kind of came up with this this little piece. And it's not a foreign aesthetic to Gundam already, meaning that you already see pieces like this already in mech designs within the Gundam universe. Even on the Jesta, for instance, this side piece here, and it might be better if I show you the stock leg. So this is my customized leg, obviously. Here's a stock leg, and this piece, this cutout on the side, is very similar in detail to these little detail blocks that we just created, right? You've got this nice flat panel, and then you've got this recessed bit of detail down here at the bottom. So very, very common style of aesthetic that you see pretty much everywhere in Gundam. So if you can make it yourself, then you can manipulate it to all the pieces in your project, and you can apply it at will, right? So that's the exciting part about it. Let's see. Julius Dembski, looks great. I like that little part. Yeah, super simple too, right? Steve Middendorf, did you get the LED with this kit? These Jestas really look good with the LED. No, actually I didn't. I'm not really too much into LEDs, quite frankly. You know, if LEDs aren't done perfectly, in my opinion. If they're not done perfectly, they just look weird and they just look out of scale and wrong, right? Now, mind you, that's not to say that LED usage is not good at all. I've seen some great LED usage, like especially with some airplane builders and some tank modelers and things like that, where they do like explosion scenes and things. There's one that has floated around Facebook for a while now. It's this World War II bomber that got hit, and it's going down, and basically there's a smoke and flame trail coming from the back end of this piece. And what the modeler did was really amazing, because he used cotton, and he wrapped the LED in the cotton and then used that as the smoke trail. He painted it up really nice. So the back end is like, you know, blacks and dark grays, and to simulate that smoke. But then as it gets closer to the plane, you see oranges and yellows and even just pure white coming from that cotton. And he used the LED inside of the cotton to basically internally light that cotton up and kind of radiate from the inside to simulate that flame, that fire, and then it just, like I said, it trails off into those darker colors to simulate the smoke. Just expertly done and really, really amazing work. And I've seen other pieces like that as well, explosion pieces and things, and those are perfect examples of how good LED work is applied to scale modeling. You know, for me, I'm not, number one, I'm not skilled with LEDs very much, so that's probably the biggest reason why I avoid them. But it can look really wrong in so many ways if you don't get it perfect, right? So, yeah, Steve, hit up Facebook. It's around the groups and stuff like that. I've seen it on a bunch of the Gunpla groups and things. You know, like I said, I don't know who the modeler is, but a lot of people have reposted it, you know, many times in the Facebook groups, the popular ones, to show, you know, LED work and things like that. Man, it's really spectacular. And then, or just Google search, you know, like LEDs, LED work on like World War II modelers or something. I don't know. Get creative with your search terms, I guess, right? Search foo and everything. But yeah, man, it was a hell of a piece, So that was LEDs done right, in my opinion. So, but yeah, good question there. All right, so we've got these two blocks here, right? And so this is the starting point for these things. You know, like I said, you can do a ton of different customizations to these, and I think that's what I'm going to kind of continue into next, right? So what I have planned for this is to, like I said, put it on the front piece of the Jesta's backpack. And I want to do like just a simple box scribe on this. Nothing crazy, just very, very plain, very simplistic, very subtle, right? Subtlety is absolutely crucial in this type of work. So with that being said, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to get a piece of Dymo tape out here, measure up. So all right, so we're going to have to cut this down and trim it. Hey, 10-5, thank you for subscribing there on the good old YouTube. Much appreciated. Welcome to the family. Thank you for watching, too. That's awesome. So we're going to have to trim this down both length and width, because this is way too big right now, because this runs to the top of that recess and a little bit off of the back of that. So we're not going to be using this in its full width, right? So let's first check the scrap bin of Dymo here, and let's see what we've got. This is always a good reason to keep your scrap Dymo, because you never know when it's going to come in handy. Look at that. That is just about perfect there, you guys. Let's get that focused. Look at that. That's just a piece I pulled out of the scrap bin. So just this little box of scrap pieces of Dymo, just cut off pieces, right? That looks perfect. I think that's what we're going to go with. So we're going to put the scrap in off to the side. We don't need the roll of Dymo tape, so we're going to put that off to the side, and then we're going to put these two little guys off to the side here as well. We're going to pull the chopper into frame and zoom him out a little bit. So first thing we have to do is even up the edges on this thing, because neither edge is nice and square. So we're going to square these up. We're going to flip this around, square up the other side, and there we go. Really simple. So now what we have to do is we have to do some measuring here on the pieces. So from the recess to the back edge is about 10 millimeter. So I think what we're going to need is 8 millimeter. So we're going to have 1 millimeter border top and bottom. So we're going to need to dial in the good old chopper here. And to do that, we need our little L square to get some measurements locked in. So we're going to dial in 8 millimeters right here on the L square, get our stop block in place, and let's cut 2 pieces out of this scrap Dymo tape. Get that pressed in nice and firm. Get that cut. Now let's take a look at this and see what this is going to look like here. Ooh, look at that, guys. Oh yeah. Let's get you guys zoomed in so you can actually see this here. That, I think, is a winner. Nice and square, nice border around all the sides. Really simple box scribe on this. Yeah, I think this is where I think this is the direction that we're gonna take it in. So let's get this other piece cut so we have exactly the same size pieces. And we're gonna toss that off to the side. We're gonna set this other piece off to the side with our other detail block. And let's get this piece applied here, but let's get the eyes back on first. Get this back peeled off of there. All right. So alignment for this type of thing is pretty important because you want the border of this piece to be identical all the way around. Okay, and I think that looks good, so we're going to press that down nice and firm to make sure that's nicely adhered to. And if we need to adjust, we can just use your fingernail to kind of push this in different directions. All right, so there we go. So we got that piece applied now. So now we're going to scribe in our box scribe. We're going to use 0.15 for panel lines, like we always do, right? And let's get to work cutting this in. So now, obviously, this is a small piece, right? Let's get focused there. This is a very small piece, so you need to be super, super careful with it. So just take your time, do it slowly, do it right the first time. I always say, let the chisel do the work on the first few passes. then you can start to apply pressure. Now, since I'm right-handed, what I usually do is I work in a counterclockwise rotation. So I start, at the top, and then just start to turn it counterclockwise and go around from there. That's just kind of like my preferred methodology. And what I like to do is overcut the left side of this piece, just slightly, because that will give your chisel a stopping point when you go in to cut the next surface. So what I mean is rotate that counterclockwise once, and then on your first pass, if you've overcut it nice, that'll stop right there. It will basically run into that panel, or that panel line, and it'll just stop like that. And then you don't have to worry about overshooting the end of your panel line. Now you want to be careful because debris will build up in that corner, obviously, so you need to clear that out every once in a while. And then you may still need to square up that corner a little bit, but it shouldn't be nearly as bad. And you just do that all the way around the piece. Just overcut the left side of whatever line that you're working on. And as long as you're operating counterclockwise, that'll give you a nice stopping point for your first pass on the next line. Okay. All right, looking good. Yeah, Tomas, the image will sometimes lose its focus because my cameras are stupid. But that's okay. As long as you guys can gauge the final results and understand the instructions, it's not always crucial to have perfect focus. What's it look like right now? Yeah, it looks good right now. Okay. Now, when you start to reach the first corner that you started with, there's going to be a little cleanup involved. So turn the piece around and then start to go in the opposite direction. Start to go clockwise. And in that way, you can clean up those lines, make them nice and square and perfect every single time. Okay. We are almost done with this thing. And there we go. All right, so that's nicely scribed. Everything looks good so far. Let's peel this thing off. Let's see what we got. It's like Christmas, right? Okay. So obviously the Dymo tape leaves a little bit of residue that we're going to have to sand off here. So we're going to use our little sanding block, flip that on its top here, and then just sand away that Dymo goo. And in that way too, the dust helps to fill in that line a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. So let's get super zoomed in here, shall we? Get that in the box. And there we go. So that's pretty nice, right? I think that looks pretty good. I think that's a nice little looking detail. You know, very simplistic, very classy, right? You can apply this to, like I said, pretty much anything or any place on any model, pretty much. So, quite happy with that. Look at that. Nice simple box scribe, nice little recess at the bottom, nice slight and very subtle bevels all the way around. Yeah, this is going to look great on any project you use it on. All right, good stuff there. All right, Steve Middendorf, I still need to purchase one of those choppers. Probably would have come in handy if I would have known about it during the Optimus Prime build for my son. Dude, yeah, the chopper is just an amazing tool. If you watched the Q&A session that we had just last Friday, I forget who asked, but someone asked if there was one tool that you couldn't model without, what would it be? And the chopper was what I decided on. The chopper is just so useful. So yeah, if you don't have one and you're into any sort of customizing with you know, plastic sheet or plastic strip or anything like that, oh, it just makes a world of difference. Absolutely a world of difference. I mean, it changes just everything that you can do with plastic at that point. So it's a great tool. So I highly recommend it if you don't have one. Let's see. Let's see. Steve Mendorf also says, I use the Master Grade Amazing Red Warrior and the Master Grade GM Sniper 2 with a lot of scratch building. Nice. That's awesome. Julius Dembski asks, what grit paper is that on your sanding block? Well, I primarily use two. This one is 600 grit, or it might be 800. See, the blocks themselves have the grit lasered into it, but I hardly ever follow that, to be honest with you. So this actually still might be 600. This is on a 2000 block, but I know this is 400. But these have been on here for quite a long time, so they've lost a pretty good amount of grit already. So realistically, this is probably more like 800. And this is probably more like 600. So those are the two that I use most often, just to, you know, even things up and flatten things out, stuff like that. Definitely not what I would say to use as finishing sanding. For that, I would go much higher and then wet sand it as well. But just for sanding blocks, I think those two grits are perfectly acceptable. So good question. Good question. A. Schultz, the chopper still amazes. Still amazing, although I still knee deep in water slides. Oh, I'm still knee deep in water slides. Yeah, water slides are fun though. I love water slides. That's when your model starts to really come together and it starts to breathe life, is when you get the water slides on, I think. Because that's when the pieces really start to kind of pop, you know? Gives it a little bit of attitude, and I think water slides are great. All right, let's clean the dust out of this little guy before we move on. So obviously to do this, I started with an old toothbrush, but then to really get all of the grit and grime out of these panel lines, I'm just going back over these with the scriber, with the chisel again, just to get in there and get all the nastiness out. When we go to finish sand this will be wet sanded, and then you really won't have to worry too much about dust and debris getting into the panel lines or the recesses of this piece, simply because that water will prevent that buildup from happening. Okay. So that's all nicely cleaned. Really good. Really good stuff. All right. So now, options for this other piece. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, but before I do that, I want to show you real quick what other kind of options that could be at this point using other things, right? Let's see. Where do we leave off? Steve Mindorf, there we go. I'm going to get that chopper before I do my Destiny Hunter class out of the MG Sniper 2. Any ideas for a cloak? Cloaks are tough. Cloaks are tough. You know, they're not exactly realistic, you know? But, you know, if that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do, right? What I would probably suggest is to, you know, go to your local fabric store and get something that has a very, very tight weave to it. You know, probably like a polyester or something like that, to where you can't really see the threads too much. Now, if you want that to be, you know, still kind of loose and flowy, don't do anything to it. Just cut it to however you want to orient it on your model, and then just kind of go from there. But if you want it to be static and somewhat rigid, then what you could do is dip that in a mixture of wood glue and water, and then saran wrap, plastic wrap your model to protect it, and then lay that now saturated piece with wood glue and everything, lay that over your model. Don't do it very tightly because you want to be able to, you know, pull the thing off of your model, of course. But that's a good way of forming that piece, having it rigid, but then also protecting the model at the same time. So that's very important, right? So those are a couple ways to do that. So good question. Let's see. A Schultz, no to the water slides. He says they're tedious. Astrea Kai, how do I make a different torso? Good question. You know, I made basically a scratch-built torso for the Hummingbird, and that was obviously very static torso. It didn't have to move or anything like that. So all it was just built up plastic sheets, and then I found two ball joint pegs from other models and drilled holes on either side, glued those in, and there you have it. That's the short, easy answer. Now, the longer, kind of more, I guess, detailed answer is to maybe get a scrapped model or something like that, a torso of a scrapped model that you like the shape of or orientation of or what have you, and then kind of just kind of start going to town on it, detailing it, changing the dimensions or changing you know, the you know, orientation. You can spin the thing around, have it the other way. If you detail it correctly, nobody will know the difference, right? So those are two methods of kind of creating your own torso at that point. It's not necessarily an easy task, but yeah. Let's see. H. Schultz, panel wash usually brings a kit together for me. Yeah, that's I mean, that's one more step. Roomblade 265 is with us. Mr. Timmy Wynn. He says, "How's it going?" Hello, Timmy. Thank you for watching, buddy. Welcome back. Bailey says, "A different torso or what?" Yeah, I don't know. Astria Kai, I forgot. Okay. Bailey says, "It's hard to mimic flowing cloth in scale. I saw a Japanese builder use a candle to melt styrene sheet into a static shape." Yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother way to do it. You know, you could probably use a like a heat gun or something like that too. Heat up that piece of plastic and kind of form it over the piece. Obviously, you need to take precautions because that heat gun is going to be extremely hot, which is in turn going to make that plastic very hot too. So watch your hands, right? Bailey says, "Very tedious, like Ace said." Why do you guys like water slides? I love water slides. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm masochistic. I don't know. Julius Dembski says, "Do you do anything to the snap fit posts to make taking the model apart easier, something to prevent them from snapping off?" Yes, I do. Bailey suggests you can cut them at a 45-degree angle. Steve Middendorf says cut a notch into the female part to the post that you're snapping into. Some people use tissue paper for cloth. Astria Kai said that as well. That's probably a good call. Very thin, and you could do it like that. But back to what Julius was asking. Yes, actually, I do something a little bit different from what the other guys had suggested, and that's to actually kind of drill out the female side of the peg, right? So what I like to do is take one of these grinding bits, you know, like a Dremel style grinding bit, right? One of these, and basically just go in and just clean that out. Just 10 rotations, I find, into the hole is perfect enough to still hold the piece, but still easy enough to get it back off. Now, this particular piece is not easy to get off because this has multiple points, has 5 different points of attachment, and then it has some friction. Well, has some friction points right here that holds it on too, which makes for a very, very secure back. So, but you can still get this off with relative ease. You just have to kind of wiggle it a little bit, and this thing will absolutely come off with no breakage, and it's pretty easy. But this piece, from the get-go, was a pain in the ass. So it's still giving me problems, but there we go. That's what I do. I just drill, you know, just kind of bevel the inside of these holes, and that works wonders for me. So that's just another way to do it too, right? Let's see. Astria Kai. Some people used. We already talked about that. Rashiga Walawita. God, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. Hi, Tim. How do you keep the edges sharp of your model when you keep sanding with finer grit? I tend to lose the sharpness when I sand when I keep sanding more finer and finer grit. Great question. Very, very good question. And that is something I think that everybody struggles with, to be quite honest. Let's get zoomed out a little bit here. You need to be super careful with your edges, right? So what I have here, just a simple sheet of high grit sandpaper, and I sanded these surfaces here just so I could get them, you know, nice and clean from where I trimmed off this super glue to fill in these notches and everything. So you need to hold the sandpaper. You don't want to, you know, hold it like this, wrapping around the edge, because that will definitely, you know, cause this edge to go round. You want to hold it more like this, right? More like an L, like this, and then just kind of go back and forth and be really, really careful and light at the edges, right? And that will help prevent any rounding on those sharp edges and stuff. And if you do happen to get some rounding, take a nice sharp hobby knife, go back, and just carefully scrape that bevel back into play. Just like that. And then that will give you a super sharp edge. Simple. Real simple stuff. But it happens to everybody. It still happens to me. So, great question. Great question. Excuse me. Bailey says, tissue cloth, and then like Tim, I guess, said you can make a mix out of water and glue, or use some other fixative to set the tissue cloth in the shape that you want around the model. Yeah, absolutely. But loose free material will generally never flow and move in scale. Yeah, that's a definite. I mean, it's just, you're never going to get anything to look realistic if you just kind of let it flow loosey-goosey. So, yeah, that's a great tip there. Baraka, my wife arrived. Hi. Uh-oh, Miss Iris is with us, you guys. Time to be on our best behavior now. Bailey says, in response to Rashiga, he demoed sharpening a part earlier in the same stream. Summing up, he uses his hobby knife to sharpen the edges. Yes, actually, absolutely. If you do want to see the sharpening of a kind of curvish piece, then yeah, just rewind and take a look at the beginning of that. So definitely. There she is. Miss Iris says, hi, Tim, I'm back. Barack Kasaza says, hello, honey. And Iris, hi, baby. Aw, you guys. Aw. That's right. These two are the best, you guys. They're so cute. They are so freaking cute. I just want to go down to Panama and just, like, hang out with these two. Like, that would be so much fun for me. I don't know why. That'd be cool. It'd be really, really cool. All right. So like I said, let's explore some, you know, different variations on this, right? Let's get zoomed in a little bit. And let's kind of reach over here to our myriad of different Kotobukiya parts and wave option parts and stuff like that, because these are fun to mess around with here. Let's grab a few and let's see. Crap. I keep dropping them. Damn it. Woo, here we go. Okay, so first one here, we got our plain base, right? And then you've got some of these little vents and stuff here, right? So some of these are probably going to be a little bit big, but this one right here would probably look pretty decent on there, right? So these little vents, you know, having an added vent on top of that is an option. And what you could also do is these kind of little venting style plates here, you know, with these little individual cutouts. These are kind of cool too. You could add those on top of there. You can get really crazy and add one of these little thruster guys on here. That would be kind of cool. That one's a little bit big, and that one's big too. Maybe only these smaller ones would fit. You can add those on there, maybe a little bit of strip around the sides of them too. Some other options. And then let's see. This is one of the wave ones, and same type of thing here. Just kind of pop that little guy right on there. And that's another option that you can apply, you know, to this this detail base, right? That's kind of a good name for it. It's just a detail base. It's, you know, because you can do so much with this. And then some of the other ideas that you could do is you could do strapping over, you know, across it, and you know, basically this way, and you can have that strapping wrap around on either side. You could do it that way. You could have a piece wrapping and strapping over this side. You can add maybe a little piece of thin plastic down here to the bottom of this little recessed piece. You can do a ton of things with this nice little kind of base detail, right? And man, just sky's the limit with this type of thing. So yeah, this type of little detail, you can create a bunch of them at one time, and then kind of customize them in the future with other projects and stuff. So really, really useful little detail base. Very useful detail base. So, all right, let's get caught up with you guys. Let's see, what are we doing here? Rashika says, thanks, Tim. You can call me by my first name. Thanks at Bailey for the reply. Awesome. Thanks for watching, Rashika. That's awesome. A Schultz. Oh. That's cool. Barack says, you're welcome, Tim. Here, live with Low Scrub too. Nice, nice. So all the cool people are around that area. That's cool, man. That's cool. Evan Tiger, where do you mainly get Kotobukiya parts? I can never find them in stock. Bailey, yep. Bailey said, search hobbysearch1999.co.jp /en, I think is the English side of that URL. But yeah, man, Hobby Search is amazing, you guys. And I'm sure everybody's heard me talk about Hobby Search and spit poetic about them and everything like that. But one thing that I really like to do, and I've talked about this, I think, a little bit before, but I like to kind of re-up my detail parts every year. And in one of the early streams, I kind of went through this box of detail parts that I bought earlier in the year. I just haven't gotten around to hanging those on the pegboard. But I have a pegboard directly behind the camera here. And actually, let me kind of show you what I got going on back here. So we're going to pick you up here for a minute. Hopefully it won't drop you guys. But we're going to spin you around. There is the pegboard of all of my kind of option parts and things. And it's a little dark right now, mainly because there's no light on the ceiling over there. But that's my wall of option parts, and it's a little bit bare right now to what it usually is, to what it usually looks like, right? Get that nice and even. There we go. So what I do is I stock up at the beginning of the year, and then as I work through my stock of option parts through the year, I will place a nice big order around January or February with Hobby Search, just to last me through the year, right? So what that does is it saves on shipping a ton. And then for the rest of the year, I don't have to worry pretty much about any option parts at that point, unless I use a lot of one type. And then you might have to order something, something else. But I tend to not rely too heavily on one shape or one style too much. And let's get this back into one camera so I can talk to you guys. There we go. So I try not to rely too heavily on one shape. I try to get a nice mix of option parts spread out throughout my projects. And so, like I said, I order those kind of in bulk, if you will. And they're so cheap. They're like $2-3, for one little frame. Buying them once a year, you can save up for the year and, just drop some money on those at the beginning of the year. And man, you're just good to go. So yeah, Hobby Search is definitely the place. They usually have the best level of stock of pretty much any online, Japanese vendor that I've seen. Much better than HLJ. Yeah, that's where I would go. So good stuff. Good stuff. Low Scrub, what's the usual thickness on those sheets? Do you have, let's say, a size for high grades and master grades? So for plastic sheets, like I said a little bit earlier, I use primarily 0.25, 0.5, and 1 millimeter, right? So that's usually the thicknesses that I use. And I try to, you know, keep the philosophy of those thicknesses of plates, you know, to something like this. On a 100 scale or a 144 scale, the 0.25 would be for minor detailing, you know, simulating latches or just simple things, right? The 0.5 would be for your, you know, general armor buildup, and, you know, other general details. 1 millimeter is going to be for your kind of beefing up look, your thicker, heavy armor panels, or your scratch building construction as well. Those are, you know, my general rule of thumb for plastic thicknesses. Now, that's not a constant rule. That is a liquid rule. You can mix and match as you need for the piece that you're working on, obviously. But, you know, as a generality, that's usually what I do. So, good question. Barakasaza, Iris and I are just one in front of another. Nice. Let's see. A Schultz, there's quite a few places that can do it, but there's also some specialized small companies that can grab them from Japan stores as well. Yeah, like Ace, A Schultz here on the YouTube chat, or Berkana Tier, as he's known over on Facebook, and definitely get a ton of cool stuff for you. You know, if you live in the States, hit him up. Very reliable. He can hook you up with some Pete Bandai too, at very good prices, I might add. So yeah, definitely hit up Ace. That's a good stuff. Let's see. Ace Schultz. Yeah, let me grab my inventory list and find out. There's a ton. Yeah, there's a ton of Kodo parts. There's detail parts. There's construction parts. There are weapon kits and stuff like that. Then there are, you know, like hands, and they actually have heads. Like you can customize. They're customizable heads. This one right here. This is the headset. You can create 4 different styles of heads in a ton of different mix and match orientations here, which is really, really cool, because my good friend Simon, Mr. Gundam UK, actually has used one of these on his custom grays that he's working on right now. So go hit up Simon, Gundam UK, and you can see actually one of those customizable heads in action. They're really cool looking. I really, really like them a lot. Let's see. Evan Tiger says, yeah, I was mainly looking for a USA place. I move back and forth a lot, so it's hard to order something when I'm not sure where I will be when it gets delivered. But thank you. Cool. Yeah, definitely hit up Ace, because super reliable. I've ordered from him several times, and he's always come through for me. Great dude to work with. So, and great prices too. So he'll get them to you pretty quickly. So yeah, hit him up. Message him on the back end, and yeah, he'll hook you up. Let's see. Astria Kai, I need more inspiration for customizing kits. Man, you know what? This is a great kind of subtopic, is inspiration. So one of my favorite websites is artstation.com. It's a website where a lot of professional concept artists post their work, and you know, some industry leaders and things like that, game developers, you know, really, really talented artistic people just post a ton of work on there, right? So that's one of the best places to look at. I get a ton of inspiration from there. You can also download their app on your phone and just flip through the galleries and stuff like that. You could spend hours on your phone flipping through that, so tread carefully, right? Especially if you don't have unlimited. Also, the books that obviously I have in my Amazon link are very, very helpful too. You know, your Nothing But Mech series, you know, your different Calamity books, you know, your Destiny books, Titanfall books especially are really, really good. That awesome Border Break book that they have on there is just one of my absolute favorites. It's an amazing book. You can get a ton of inspiration from there. And then also, you know, like Pinterest is actually surprisingly good too. You know, just look up, you know, custom whatever kit that you're wanting to customize, you can get some really cool ideas. So that's a good question there, Astria. Let's see, Astria Kai, how do you build up armor? Just plastic sheets, just like I did with the shoulder here in some previous episodes. These are 1 millimeter, so again, these are beefy, heavy style sheets. Yeah, you can beef those up with sheet. You can use epoxy putty to reshape and build up armor as well. So those are both really, really good options. So, Enrika Asanohashi, I'm back from dinner. Welcome back. Let's see. Enrico Asanohashi, yeah, Simon's Graze is looking so good. Dude, it really, really is. I really like how that's looking. And plus the fact that he used the graphite black 40th anniversary color that I was talking about in a couple previous episodes. Oh, it looked so nice, that color. I can't wait to test that out. And F and Tiger says, what series has your favorite design elements? I've been on an AOZ kick lately, and my current build is implementing the tiny feet and massive gun. Yeah, you know what? Advance of Zeta always has some amazing designs, and I really, really love them. Some of them are really kind of quirky and weird, but, pulling in just some, simplistic design details, just some subtle details is just a winner. The one book series that I absolutely love, and I know a lot of us really love them, is the Master Archive series. The details in those books are just, off the charts. And I've shown, I think, at least one of the books, but the GM Spartan that I'm working on right here, the details, this line art actually came from the Master Archive GM edition. And I really just absolutely love the proportions, the details, the shapes, everything about the Master Archives is just stunning. So if you can find some Master Archive books, I think they're about $25 a piece, yen price. But man, those are amazing. You can get some scans and stuff online if you really are into piracy, I guess. I don't know. I've got them, so maybe I'm a pirate. I don't know. Anyway. Baraka says, sorry, but what was the name of the app for the Mecha concept? Oh, good question. Art Station. ArtStation. ArtStation. Art Station. And then the website, their corresponding website is artstation.com. So I know it's on iOS. I don't know about the Google App Store or Google Play Store or whatever it's called. I got an iPhone, so I don't know. But yeah, you can check both. So it's great. You can if you create your own account, you can favorite, basically bookmark different works. You can bookmark an artist and be notified when they post new works. Man, it's such an amazing website, you guys. I highly, highly, highly recommend it to anybody out there wanting to get inspiration. That's actually where I got the inspiration for the Ozymandias. There was there's a concept designer, what's his name? Johnson Ting, I believe his name is. And he made this concept of medieval armor, this hawk-style armor that I got just a ton of inspiration. The helmet design is almost directly taken from his work on this particular suit of armor. Some of the other details that I put into it also kind of came from, his work as well. But man, just such an inspiration that particular one was to me. And I found that, like I said, on ArtStation. So yeah, really, really good stuff on there. Let's see. F and Tiger, Pinterest is great. I have a board for every project. Sweet. Yeah, it has its uses. It's just not for, it's just not for people, looking for fashion makeup and stuff like that, like my wife does, and home interior stuff. So yeah, it's good. It's good times. Steve Middendorf, F91 or Seed has some of my favorite designs. So many scratch builds tend to follow those elements. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, everybody kind of gravitates to their own style, I guess, right? And so yeah, I mean, if that's what attracts you, absolutely go gusto for that one. So that's very cool. Andrew Young, finished studying. Great. We're so lucky to have you back, Andrew. Let's see. Bailey, Pinterest, an endless rabbit hole for Gunpla, has everything in there. Yeah, absolutely. You could get lost for days in Pinterest searching and clicking and everything. It's crazy. Bailey says, well, knowing when to finish studying is a good technique for learning. Sage wisdom. Sage wisdom. Andrew Young says, well, class is going to kill me tomorrow when I take my exam, but that's a future Andrew problem that will hate present Andrew. Oh, my. Why am I not surprised about this, you guys? Why am I not surprised? Barack Asaza downloading now. Thanks, Tim. Awesome. Good. I'm glad you found it, man. Glad you found it. Such a good site, such a good app. Really good stuff there. So, all right, let's do it. Let's do a time check. It's 12:08. So let's wrap this one up for the night, you guys. All right. So first things first, rocking the RX-78 little rifle design here, right? So you can get that on the Child of Mecha store. Hit up childofmecha.com and click the store button at the top. You'll be transported over to the store. We got shirts, we got hats, we got bags. Soon we'll have the pillows. I was working on those a little bit yesterday, and I ordered some prototypes for some new designs. I want to see how those came out, and if those are good, then you will see the pillows pretty soon. We're going to do the decor prints, you know, so that your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, your boyfriend, whoever, doesn't mind seeing them in the living room. Those are super subtle and really nice colors to kind of go with your modern living room. So I'm really excited about those. I kind of got the sign off from my wife. So if she said, you know, they were cool, then I'm happy with that. That's kind of the seal of approval, in my opinion. So those will go up hopefully soon. And obviously all the logos and stuff like that on pillows, those will be there as well. No Tim body pillows. No, none of that. Nope, not going to happen. I know people are asking, especially Andrew. He would love a Tim body pillow to curl up to in the wee hours of the morning. But that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. But what is going to happen is the Gunpla Talk fundraiser and giveaway, where you can win this amazing model, this Astray red frame perfect grade. And also, like I said just a little while ago, earlier today, we got the 6 little resin mini busts from Mr. Win I'm On. He included some autographed little cards as well to give away. So 6 lucky donors will win those. And our friend Ace Schultz is sending some other stuff our way, too, to give away. A P. Bandai Polypod, some BMC chisels, and some other goodies to give away. Those are going to be really cool. So can't wait to get those and get those updated to the site and everything, too. So if you haven't donated, now is absolutely the time. Get your donations in. No minimum, no maximum either. So give what you can to a good cause. It goes to the National Alopecia Areata Foundation, a great charity to get involved with. And, you know, they put everything back into trying to find a cure for the disease, man. It's a good cause. It makes you feel good by donating, but then it also gets you entered to win some really amazing prizes. This is open to everyone worldwide. No matter where you are, you can enter this. You can donate, you can enter. Singapore, there are some hurdles to jump, but if you are watching from Singapore, just contact one of us here on Gunpla Talk, me, Zach, Josh, Justin, Simon, Jim, any one of us, or just contact the Gunpla Talk page, and we will help you out. we will definitely help you jump those hurdles, get you entered, and get you donated, right? So good stuff there. If you're interested in any of the tools that we used here tonight, the chopper, the L square, the NT cutters, those grinder bits to hollow out the female portions of the pin assemblies, man, all of those are going to be on the Amazon link just below or off to the side here on Facebook. Click those up. There's going to be some books in there for inspiration as well. You can find all of the streaming gear in there that we used to make this stream possible, and also Gunpla Talk as well. All that good stuff is on there. So, yeah, so that's good. Anyway, guys, it is now 12:12. Andrew, I am not being a buzzkill. You are being a buzzkill for asking every time the Tim body pillows. They're just not happening, man. Number one, I can't even get body pillows. So how am I going to make you one? Not happening. Just not happening. If you're really good and if you donate a lot of money to the Gunpla Talk fundraiser, I might make you a pillow with my face on it. But that's, I mean, you got to donate like some cash, dude. Like cash, like $100. Even then, I'll have to think about it. But you need to do that first. And you also need to get me my homework that you didn't finish. Anyway. All right, guys. So until Wednesday, man, be safe. Make something cool. Build a cool model. And we'll talk to you then, guys. Take care, all right? See you guys.